I'm Tobias, coming from Berlin, Germany. I'm a free software enthusiast since, I don't know, last century. I'm volunteering in the Berlin group for the FSFE since 15 years, and I'm nowadays working at System Hacker in the office of the FSFE. I'm also a Friendica developer and as such part of the Fediverse thingy since 2008. And what I'm about to tell you for today is I will give a short roundup what's wrong with walled gardens that we know of social media. I will present you our alternative idea of the Fediverse. For that, I will give a brief technical dip into the protocol that the Fediverse is connecting. And I will then tell you what we can already do on the Fediverse and how you can easily join. So first of all, who of you is doing social media? 5. Great. Nobody?
Antisocial people.
Antisocial people here. Who of those 5 is already on the Fediverse? Okay, that's 3 others. Interesting. Okay, for me, the question was, why did I join social media in the beginning? And that was to stay in touch with friends from school after we finished there and to coordinate basically learning groups at university. And after some time, postings appeared in my timeline that were like, this might interest you. It was totally strange topics. And after some time, it got better. And there were things that I was looking for in online shops that suddenly appeared in my timeline. And that's itchy somehow. I don't know. So 2008, luckily, I found the Fediverse. But the problem was with those social media platforms we were using after school was that everybody used another platform, and so you had to create accounts on all of those platforms to keep in touch with everybody else. And there was no interaction possibility between the 2 platforms that we were on. So, and as I said, postings appeared. So they were ad-driven. And then they had moderation issues. So I've studied astrophysics, and at some point, somebody of my peer group posted an image of, I think it was Saturn with one of the moons in front of Saturn. And the algorithm thought, that's a circle with a circle in it. That might be a female breast. So the image was censored. What's going on the planet? Okay. And just recently, we saw that maybe there is a problem if the ownership of the social media platform is changing, and the new owner of the platform is maybe not that well behaving anymore, and he's using the platform for his own needs to be important. And as I said, I'm on the Fediverse since 2008, and those walled gardens were already identified by a cartoonist in 2008 for The Economist. And you just have to exchange the logos of the platforms and it would still be valid. So that cycle of having a great platform which gets not so great anymore and getting some issues because they try to get the most out of it. Cory Doctorow has coined that process enshiftification, and from my feeling, we are currently in a hyper loop of enshiftifications of platforms and everything else. So, with the help of free software and open standards, I want to present to you the Fediverse as an alternative for those walled gardens. If you look into the Wikipedia, what it says about the Fediverse, it says that the Fediverse is a collection of social networking services that can communicate with each other among a common protocol, which is correct, but if you don't know the terms, then you don't really get what it's meaning. What it's meaning is that nowadays there are around 150 open source projects out there. Something like the project I'm working on, Friendica, it's a yellow and blue Fs. And anybody can install that platform on their servers and use it to communicate with other users in that server. And you can also communicate with other users on other Friendica instances. But you can also communicate with users from, so Friendica is something like Facebook-ish. We have in the Fediverse Mastodon, which is a microblog. You can interact with people on Mastodon from Friendica. And we have something for photo stories, we have PixelFed. I can just follow your PixelFed account to see the latest pics from DevConf and I can interact with them. If I see a nice photo from you, I can just share it with all my followers, and I comment on it, and I can like it. Whatever you want to do on social media, you basically can do with the Fediverse. How does it look like? Social media is nothing new, so it's looking like social media should look. On the one side, I have a screenshot of the social media posting on Mastodon from FSFE last year, SFSCon, and on the right-hand side, we have a screenshot from our PeerTube instance from the Adam Zangerman movie, and underneath there's a second screenshot where you can see that there are 31 likes on that video that was taken shortly after we put on the video online, and all those likes, as our PeerTube instance only has our user, all those likes are coming from federated instances around the globe. So whatever service those 31 people are using, the like arrived at our PeerTube instance. So Fediverse is 2008. There was the initial idea by Evan, who liked that service named Twitter very much, but he was thinking like, hey, we should be able, as Floss community, we should be able to run something like that on our own servers as free software to be in control of the algorithm that is doing the work. And after 8 years, 2016, the WC3C consortium funded the social web community group to work on a new common protocol with all the lessons we had learned in the last 8 years to get something new, and that was published 2018. The result was named ActivityPub, and kudos to those nice 5 persons who have driven the protocol development. ActivityPub is an actor protocol where the actor has an inbox and an outbox, so it's something similar to email. The rest of the world can post into my inbox, so my Friendica node will then see how to display the content that was put into my inbox, and I can get it from there. And if I post something to my outbox, then it is distributed to everybody who is subscribed to me, or if I do a private posting, then only to those who I'm select to get there. It's basically all pushing around JSON files. A handle in the Fediverse is also constructed a little bit like good old email addresses. So in this case, it's @fsfe@mastodon.social, which is our Mastodon account you can follow. And if you want to get to know something more about that account, you could ask the web finger of it, and you get some information. One of those informations are the aliases that are used online that you can use instead of the handle. One is with the @FSFE and one is /users/FSFE. Both three are equal in the searches. And the one maybe important is the rel self thingy, which is the identifier for that actor, because the aliases can differ from platform to platform. For instance, in Friendica, we don't use @username, but ~username, because we're really old school and we like the home directory being with tilde. And we don't use users, but profile for some historical reason, and every of the 150 projects do it differently. So look into the web finger and get the aliases. Then, as I said, we are posting basically JSON from the outboxes to the inboxes of people we want to interact with. There's a nice service, activitypub.academy, where you can look into the activity streams that is exchanged between the instances. It's basically a Mastodon instance, but with the ability to show the activity stream. And this is a follow request I did too. So here the type of the message is follow, and that's the account I had at ActivityPub Academy. And I want to follow the FSFE account. And then there's the answer from Mastodon Social. Hey, FSFE accepted your request. And I get JSON back, and the server can then do the stuff. And when I want to post something, then again, a JSON thingy, I create, in this case, a posting. And it has some meta information, and it has a to field like an email and a CC field like an email. In this case, only the to field is set because I'm mentioning the FSFE account. There's nobody in the CC. That is then in the protocol. This is a private message, only display it to those in the to field. And that is the content of the posting. Somewhere there is a content, hey, FSFE, how are you doing? And you see I'm a Friendica developer and not using Mastodon that much because I forgot to change the language to English. Okay, my bad. So, how to ensure that all those projects interact nicely with each other? The ActivityPub specs are rather vague in some aspects. So somebody invented the Fediverse enhancement proposals, the FEPs, where projects write down, hey, we want to do this and that, like we want to exchange events via ActivityPub, and those are RFC basically how to do that. You find them online, and there's a way to indicate which of the FEPs your project is following, so other can see, hey, okay, they are doing that FEP, so I want to be compatible with them. I will also follow the FEP. What is a Fediverse in 2025? We have like 27,000 communities all around the globe that are running services for their communities. On those community servers, there are around 12 million accounts. So those are lower levels because many people opt out of those statistics files or don't even opt into them. So that's just the lower border. And what for services are out there, it's basically all you can think about in social media. So there are microblogging services based on Akoma or Mastodon or Sharky or GoToSocial or you name them. Or there are macro blogs where you have more rich content with longer texts, like in Friendica or Hubzilla. There are video platforms like Peertube, which is something like YouTube, or own cast, where you can just cast a show that is now living and afterwards it's gone. Or there's something like Loops, which goes into the direction of TikTok. For image stories, we have PixelFed. For podcasters, there's Castropod. And if your organization has a WordPress blog or a Drupal blog and you want to join the Fediverse but don't know exactly how to do that, and you don't really have the capacity to join because, just switch on the ActivityPub plugin for those platforms, and voila, your WordPress blog is part of the Fediverse. People from Mastodon, from Friendica can follow you there, can comment on your postings and spread your news for you. There are many private persons doing so. There are NGOs and associations like we are doing, like the Auschwitz Memorial is doing. There are academics and artists and public authorities who have identified the need to have an open channel to communicate the message with the citizens. Because if you force your citizens to use some commercial service to get your news, you are also kind of selling the data from your citizens to those corporations, which is not really what governments want, really. So in 2022, the Swiss group of FSFE and GNU Linux, they together started the FediGov campaign to convince governments to join the Fediverse. If you take a look on the lower QR code, there's a collection of postings they did, focusing mostly on Switzerland. Then last year on the first Fedi Day in Berlin, a one-day conference, we had Ralf Stockmann, known from Chaos Computer Club events, and he is running the Mastodon instances for German libraries. And he was promoting the idea that public services should do some pioneering work to establish the Fediverse. As soon as you decide that you want to do social media with your public service, then you should also do at least one channel in the Fediverse to not force the citizens into the commercial networks. And University of Innsbruck, the science communications team, they have managed to get the entire university into the Fediverse. Every student, every PhD, every professor who works there can use their Mastodon account, and they're promoting this to communicate the science results that people from university are producing, because then those results, those postings stay there. You don't have to care about, okay, for that project, I need a website, and the website will be gone within half a year after I finish the project and the money runs out because. No, they will stay online, and it's not only University of Innsbruck joining them, other universities doing that as well. Now, 30 million people, 30 million accounts. Yes, there's a reach argument, obviously. And it's true, it's kind of true. You have less followers, yes. Studies done within the Fediverse have shown that you have less followers, but the interaction quality is far better on the Fediverse than on other services. And the turnout from people clicking on your links that you post on the Fediverse is higher than for those links you are posting on other networks. And Claudia Zotzmann-Koch from Vienna Writer has written a nice article about the myths about reach and why it's a lie at all. And you should go into that track. So, what is the Fediverse? It's a community-driven social network where the members of communities can interact with each other across the borders of the platforms that communities are running. Almost all of those platforms are driven by donations, basically. There's no service I know of that is there for maximizing their profit. So all those algorithms that keep you online, doom scrolling through your entire timeline to see even more advertisement are not there in this Fediverse. The algorithm that selects the postings that you see, on most of these platforms, it's just chronological timeline. So I post something at 12, you see it at your timeline at 12 o'clock. No other algorithm there. There are some platforms who allow their users to specify their own search terms, basically to filter out the results, but that's the default, chronological timeline. We can interact globally in the Fediverse, and the moderation tools, they are in the hand of the users and in the hand of the administrators of those services. So you can follow the local law and care for the needs of your community. Because journalists might have different needs than a school club. You need to interact with other people and you need other filter rules, blocking rules. And everything is built on free software and open standards. How to enter? Easy, just do. To be honest, find a nice community. There are services online. You just select, like, I'm a role-playing gamer, so I want to join a community of role-playing gamers to see in my local timeline, maybe mostly role-playing stuff, or I'm a cybersecurity expert, so I will choose a cybersecurity expert community. Or I'm mostly interested in what's happening in Brno, so I will join the Brno local community to see what's going on there. Best is don't go alone. Take some friends with you, because then you already have a peer group. I mean, we are technical people. Fediverse is full of technical people, so most likely we will find somebody, but it's always nice to have somebody there. Do a new here posting, because then people know who that guy is that suddenly pops up and wants to follow you. And go on to Fedi meetups offline to see people who are behind those online identities. Follow the FSFE to get our news about free software in Europe, and spread the word. The Fediverse is growing slowly but steadily and organic. So there is the need of spreading the word and promote the nice Fediverse. Talk about it. I wonder why DevConf doesn't have a Fediwall. For instance, I'm glad other services went on walls as well, but why not a Fediwall? And Elena Rossini has just published a very nice 5-minute video explaining the Fediverse, and the video is available on English and has subtitles in many languages. There's Czech subtitles as well. It's a great video. Share that video with your friends, and also, if you like the work that FSFE is doing, please become a supporter. And if you're interested in more about the Fediverse, we will have a second Fediverse Day in Berlin at Seabase, and we'll have nice talks there as well. So, that's it.
Yep. Hello.
Hello.
This on? Can I? Okay. Hi. So you were presenting a problem with the traditional media, which is there could be a owner going rogue or acquiring, which is a fair objection. But in my experience, I have used some Fediverse platforms for a little bit, and speaking specifically of Lemmy, even though it doesn't really have an owner, the main developer is, let's say, heavily politically aligned.
Yes.
And
might happen.
What?
That happens, yes.
That happens, and one of the biggest instances of Lemmy is controlled by this person.
Yes.
And the political content is heavily moderated to some uncomfortable levels.
Yes.
At the same, so if you go on that platform, you have the impression that you're going on into something, not censored and free from all the, biases. Yes. But actually, what you get is heavily biased stuff. So on the other hand, you could feel pushed to go towards smaller instances that are not federated with this heavily politicized instance. But what you get then is an echo chamber. And none of these things are a good thing, right?
Yes.
Either the heavily politicized big instance or the echo chamber. So I was wondering, is this something that is being discussed, or is this something that the Fediverse people, for lack of better words, are thinking about and are thinking on how to fix? Because for me, this is a great problem that makes it not worse, but almost as bad as the traditional platforms when this happens.
I'm not too familiar with Lemmy in special, but you have in general the problem that smaller instances won't get all the content from the Fediverse, because the content is basically only distributed to platforms that users are on to interact with each other. So there is a mechanism to basically push your content to relay servers which then push the content to all the servers that are connected with the relay server, which makes the distribution better. And there then having one large node that is producing questioning content, and you block them, then it's not that influential, because you get all the other content via those relay servers. It is discussed. It's a complicated topic, because one of the reasons for the Fediverse is that we want to give the communities the opportunity to control by your own what you are wanting to get from the postings and what not. So, yes.
Thank you. So when Elon Musk was taking over Twitter, a lot of people left the platform and rushed to the Fediverse. Do you know if the user growth was sustainable, or if a lot of them stopped using the services when the hype was fading down?
Again, a yes. So in all those migration waves, regardless of Elon or Zuckerberg doing things, or there is a privacy scandal there or something, you see many people joining the Fediverse, some of them leaving again, some staying, some then rediscovering their old account within the next wave and saying, hey, that account is still there, and wow, there are now more people I want to interact with, because with the next wave, more people are coming. So, yes. Some have left again, some were staying, some choose other services to use. Yeah.
Thanks. I love the idea of everything can speak to everything else, but it brought to us a practical problem of identity fragmentation. We were considering bridging our social media in a non-profit that we run into Fediverse. And we did in the end, but decided to just bridge a single one, because at every centralized platform, there's one quote-unquote definitive profile that's official for the brand that you run. But if everything speaks to everything, you will have one brand for the pixel thing, one brand for the Mastodon microblogging, one brand by that. And it seemed to us that if we bridged like all 6 social media platforms and web that we have into the Fediverse at the same time, it would probably cause more chaos than value, but we were hesitant, and in the end, we decided not to fragment the identity and just bridged one. Is this the way that the Fediverse expects, or is there some sort of identity consolidation so that you keep the brand somewhat, oh, and we have all these things at the same time, and you can kind of see them at the same time in the Fediverse? Or any related comments that you might have to this?
I would love to see Fediverse first. So post in the Fediverse and then spread to other networks. I understand that coming into the Fediverse might not be the way to then switch totally over to Fediverse first things. It actually depends on the crowd that you want to reach in the Fediverse. So if you identify that most of our photo stories are going well and we want to reach that crowd in the Fediverse, then rather go to that one platform at first and then see how it develops. And people in microblogging services can follow your photo stories and see them as well. So I think it's a good approach to identify what's the most important channel for you to dip that into the Fediverse if you are coming in.
But the trouble is that the content will be kind of similar across.
Yes, yes.
And you don't want to duplicate.
Yes, exactly. So for the FSFE, we have 2 accounts in the Fediverse, which the one is the microblogging service that we announce new stuff, and the other one is basically our PeerTube instance collecting videos from the FSFE, putting that into the Fediverse so that it is then spread from there. Yeah.
I have a question about the video stuff. So you mentioned PeerTube, but does the Fediverse have answer to the cost in general? I don't know. So hosting videos might be costly, and like people living off from like the ad sharing from YouTube. And do you have kind of an answer parallel to that?
So the way PeerTube is doing is it's offering the possibility that you distribute the load of distributing the videos among many servers. So if you are an organization that say, okay, we have enough resources to allow bandwidth to share with smaller NGOs, then you can associate resources for that. And then if multiple people are looking the same video at the same time, they use WebTorrent to distribute the video stream among those peers at the same time. So that is somehow distributing also the cost. But yes, there's a price tag attached if you want to leave the big tech players, yes. But you gain freedom for that. Yes.
I guess we're reaching the time. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.